In the early days, back in the 2000s, a time that seems long gone, there was the Xbox original console. That was what you saw, the Xbox. And Xbox was trying to do anything he could to compete. And Nintendo was out there with a very fancy game called Mario Party. I'm sure we've all played it, we all know it, we all love it. It's got like 77 games in that series now. It's a huge hit. It's got all the iconic Mario characters like Mario and Luigi and other Mario characters. Well, Microsoft looked at this and they're like, hey, how can I capitalize on that? Well, here comes Fusion Frenzy, a game that's set in like a cyberpunk, like industrial sludge world for some reason, where each little area, instead of playing a game board, you collect orbs. Why do you collect orbs? No one knows! The game makes absolutely no sense. This is just a minigame collection with the overly 2000s looking characters. I mean, these are the most 2000 looking characters you've ever seen. They all look like they stepped right off of like the set of Spy Kids into a Kids Bop album. That's what these guys are. You got the Vin Diesel look-alike. You got all sorts of weird stuff. This game was a mismatch of chaos. It had super fun games, the mini games. I remember there was two games me and my sister would play that we wouldn't kill each other over. Now, we try to kill each other over everything because that's what siblings do, but these games we enjoyed. And it was Fusion Frenzy and Mario Party. We had the GameCube upstairs and we had the Xbox downstairs. And my sister wasn't the biggest fan of the Xbox. She loved her Nintendo. That's why she got the GameCube. Which still eats me alive because I want another GameCube. Mainly because I just want to play Wind Waker. That's the only game on the GameCube that I'm like, want to play Wind Waker. But anyways, back to Fusion Frenzy. We would play this. And this game was nonsense. The games all revolve around like tanks and water jet skis. But not like jet skis. They're like weird inner tubes and in tanks. There's a lot of things with tanks and balls, and it was weird. This is a weird game. I do not understand why it exists. It was like, hey, I'm just gonna, like, and why everyone dies, like, explodes into blood and stuff. And this game's like E. And this, everyone was just dying, and you're mashing bugs and blood splattering on them like they're all mosquitoes. This game was, I'm pretty sure people sat down and created this game. They're like, we need a kids game for Xbox. I want to do it in a post-apocalyptic, but not a post-apocalyptic. No. Cyberpunk like world, industrialized to a point where they have to smash bugs, shoot each other in tanks, and they have to carry bombs that make them explode and throw dynamite at each other. And like, I just wanted to make a Mario Party. No! We need the edge. We need the blood. We need the gore. And they're like, we're trying to make a kids game. Kids need to know what evil's going on. Corporations are bad. The society's at fault. And like, they ended up locking him away and throwing away the key. But they're like, we'll take some of his ideas. And that's how this game came to fruition. Other than that, if there's another way to explain this game, I have absolutely no idea. It's so chaotic. None of the mini games made sense. And I didn't even think about making a video on this. It was something that had been memory hold. But I had some friends over a few weekends ago. And we were all playing games and stuff. And I booted up my Xbox because I had enough controllers. So my PS5 wasn't going to work because I only had one controller for that. And my Xbox original has only one controller. So I was like, my Xbox original. I had my Xbox One controllers. I handed everybody controllers. I'm like, what can we play? And it popped up. It was right there in my downloaded games, Fusion Frenzy. We booted it up. We started just playing the games, and they were like, one of my friends had played it before. The other two were like, what is going on? Why are we like collecting so many orbs? Why are we smashing bugs now? And it just made me realize how nonsensical this game was. How much of a chaos fuck this monster was in general. Why am I smashing bugs everywhere? There's levels where you're on a subway. Everything's like in the sky sometimes, and it's like futuristic, and it's like, here's a subway. Here's smashing bugs in a subway again. And you're like, okay, now what do I do? We're at the docks. And you're like, I was flying 2 minutes ago. What's going on? In this game, I guess it got a sequel. I've never played it. Maybe down the line, I'll like dig up. I'll go through the files. I'll call up like some tech guy. I'm like, hey man, I got a serious job for you. Here we go. We're gonna download ourselves some ROMs or something. I don't know. The fact that this game got a sequel is absolutely insane. Because this game's barely a game to begin with. Yes, it has a bunch of fun mini games. Don't get me wrong. Some of the mini games I absolutely love. Like one of the ones I showed you in the past with the twirly swirly jumpy jump. Loved that. That was my favorite one as a kid. It was in my mind. I thought of it like the mini game in Mario Party 5 where I was jumping on leaves. I loved it. It was just my shit. But this game, the more you think about it, the more your memory holds. There's a mini game where you're pushing up to a waterfall, right? The waterfall's right here. It's right here. And you're sitting there, and there's cows coming at you. Why are there cows in inner tubes? And then the next one, like I said, you're blowing each other up on escalators. Like, don't get me wrong. The Mario Party games are nonsensical. Everyone knows this. Everyone's agreed on this. But it works because it's a Mario Party game. This game, I am just baffled by its existence every single time I think about it. It just has this world of nut jobbery. Not to mention the way you actually play through it against each other when you're dueling for the orbs. You're like, World 1, World 2, World 3, and it's like each different district of this awful town. Like, this town has to be, like, they had to have come up with the ideas for some of these weird movies like Guns Akimbo and stuff by looking at Fusion Frenzy. It's like Blade Runner's wet dream of a city, but you never get to actually dive into why this city exists. It's just a backdrop for some weird mini games. And that's what baffles me to this day. That's what lives inside of my brain. Like, is this the prequel to Cyberpunk 2077? Can it be? Please? Is this the game that just is a product of its time? These are answers to a question I will never know. And it honestly disturbs me why this game isn't brought up on a constant occasion as... Because you hear games that are like Dead Island, or not Dead Island, like whatever, Dead or Alive, and I get that they had fan service and stuff in them, so they had the ladies with the big old tiggity-dibbities bouncing around all other directions, and they had wind physics even though they're tits. But this game that may not have had that, it should be talked about. This game should be talked about and should be showcased as games that shouldn't be forgotten. It's chaos incarnate, and I love it. And obviously, Xbox knows that people like this game. Otherwise, why would it get a backwards compatibility? You can play this on a Series X right now. I think it's on Game Pass. And you should. But that's all I got for you guys today. Leave me a comment. Are you going to play Fusion Frenzy? Or are you going to save yourself the mental, consciousness knowing that a game like this exists and you haven't played it? Because if that's how you're going to be, you're an idiot. Play this game. Like the video and subscribe, you goddamn idiots.